Language Arts, Lesson 6, Simple, Compound, and Complex Sentences. So, how do we figure out what the difference is between all of these different types of sentences? It's quite simple. Let's take a look at the simple sentences. Simple would be John and Dan ran 15 miles. We have a verb, two subjects. It's simple because it does not have any conjunction or any semicolon. Now, let's make this one a compound sentence. Let's add a semicolon or a conjunction. John and Dan ran 15 miles. But is there a conjunction? They didn't reach their destination. So now we have another subject and another verb connected by a conjunction. Now let's make this into a complex sentence and you'll see the difference here. Although they are old, is a clause. Any clause inside of a sentence makes a sentence a complex sentence. So simple would be just these two lines, John and Dan ran 15 miles. That'd be a simple sentence. It doesn't have any conjunction. And then combining the two where we have two sentences connected by a conjunction or a semicolon turns it into a compound. We have two of these simple sentences put together by a semicolon, and that is a compound. And then to bring it to the furthest step, making it complex, where we have anything bracketed, which are clauses. So that takes care of the new part. Going on to number 1, it says underline the verbs twice and the subjects once, just like we did here, including those within the dependent clauses, which we did not do. Now we did. Within the dependent would be within the actual clauses, the dependent clauses, the ones that are bracketed. And then label each sentence as simple, compound, or complex. All this together makes a complex sentence. All of it together. Would one piece be taken out? It'd be either a compound or simple. Does that make sense? I hope so. So, going to number 1. The storm tossed the ship about, yet Jesus did not awaken. What do we bracket? Is there anything to bracket? No, there's nothing to bracket. Is there any? Well, underline your subjects. What's the subject? Storm. Underline that once. What's your verb? What did the storm do? It tossed. So, storm, underline once, tossed twice. What about in your second independent clause? What's the subject? Jesus. Underline that once. And what's your verb? You have two separated by an adverb. What is it? Did awaken. Good. Did awaken needs to be underlined twice. What does that make it? We have a conjunction. Compound. Yeah. So the next one we have, number 2, we have semicolons, which also function as the same thing as conjunctions. Excuse me. So that would be also a compound. So go ahead and do the rest and see if you can get them. Always take a look at one thing first. Is there a dependent clause? Do we need to bracket anything? And if you don't, then you can leave the CX, which is the complex, aside, and then just fiddle with simple or compound. But do not get tricked. Even though it's a long sentence, that does not mean it has to be compound or complex. It can still be a simple sentence. All right, go ahead and do the rest of the lesson on your own.